What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is my review of Naomi episode 6. Naomi meets someone who helps her uncover her past, and Dee embarks on a mission and tries to track down a lost love, and we're one step closer to finding out if Zambadu is in fact a protagonist. So guys, the tension between Nathan and Anthony escalates when Anthony feels that the homecoming tradition is being disrespected by a military kid in Nathan. So this all started when Nathan disagrees with him about many things that they talked about at school. Anthony boasts about the architecture club will win the fundraiser, but it's actually the soccer team that's carrying the swing right now. And Naomi reminds the group that the fundraiser is to raise money for the school, trying to get the boys to play nice. But you guys know that don't work, because the two start to get physical, which earns them a detention. Now, I thought that this is something that I wasn't really expecting, but both of them pairing up and being forced to work together and understand each other, embark on a mission to find out who's been playing pranks with Anthony's models, turns out to be something that was well received. The person who was doing all the meddling turned out to be Esme. She was the one who trashed it. They didn't really address the outcome, which I thought was strange. They went to her stand and she was selling all these pies and everything. But I guess they'll pay that off next week. But anyway, we got a villain of some sorts. Now, Naomi and Dee increasing the levels of her training, giving her a goal of fluidity. Dee telling her he won't be training her for a few days because he has matters to handle involving Cruella. Now, more on that later on. But I like when Nathan walks into their training dojo and Dee really flips to protect her, giving Nathan a firm handshake, urging him to focus on his mental and emotional health. I'm not sure how this pairing will get on moving forward, but Dee doesn't want anything blocking Naomi from making progress, including boys. He was kind of shocked to find out that she had a boyfriend. I thought that was weird. But Dee meets Adam Blake. Remember I talked about him? An alien from an old friend of Dee's who fought alongside him a long time ago. And I said in my previous videos that he's DC's Captain Comet. We last left him taking on 10 guys that breached his house. And you know, he can handle himself because this guy is quantum level. But Adam has tracked down a mercenary named Lux, who may have information about Quayla, who Dee has caused to believe that may be still alive after finding her name on a list of bounty hunters. But Adam jokes that Dee is the only love-struck Fangarian that he's ever known. And that's because, remember guys, they're raised to be warriors. So for you guys who are Star Trek fans, that's like seeing a Klingon moaning about a loved one. Something you'll never see. So Quayla, whose ring Lux just so happens to be wearing around his neck, Lux reveals that a few years ago he was on a planet far from Earth and a conflict broke out and he and Q got pinned down. He took her ring to remind himself that it could have been him that died instead of her. So while this doesn't really account for anything, it's nice that we see all this fleshing out of the side characters on the show to give more sort of meat on the bones and a background story. Something to build on in future episodes. At least now Dee can leave and focus on keeping Naomi safe and continue to train her. So the crux of this episode, guys, is that the writers are starting to peel back the layers of Zambadu, something which I've been talking about over the last few reviews. Naomi is doing the best she can, but he ain't helping her. He's not giving her any information, and she says to him that she'll find out by herself what's been going on. As Zambadu was always reiterated that Naomi wasn't ready, and in this episode, we kind of find out that he was right. So in this episode, we've seen Naomi act very impulsively, leading to her getting into trouble. So she finds her way to a lab, and she meets a Dr. Bell. This Dr. Bell believes that she can help Naomi. She also finds out that she's an alien because she has all this stuff set up in her front door that when you walk into a sort of a lab, she can tell whether you're human or alien. But it's here, it really hits the fan and it goes south real fast. Now Dr. Bell is willing to help Naomi, but there's always going to be a price to pay. She was working on a way to find other planets in the multiverse. She could sort of do it in the universe, she could find out where any planet was in the universe. But because the current tech can only work in our universe, this means that she doesn't know where Naomi's come from because Naomi's from the multiverse. But the tools that she needs, the Zumbado took from her, so that Dr. Bell won't be able to find out anything about Earth-29. This shows a high level of naivety on Naomi's part, trusting everything that Dr. Bell said and throwing everything at her. I've always asked for a bona fide villain on the show, as you guys know, and we are sadly missing one. But in this episode, Dr. Bell serves that up. After Dr. Bell rules the location of Naomi's whole world inconclusive, she tries to trap Naomi and use her power source to find the location, sapping Naomi's energies. The device incapacitates Naomi, and I like when Naomi put up a force field to block the energies that was trying to attack her, and she then used her own power to blast the machine. Still, that took a lot out of her, and machine still gets the better of her. Now, Naomi is saved by Zambadu, who rescues her from the doctor. And the whole reason why this episode works is because it's supposed to be a teen mystery. Yeah, the series, we know it's supposed to be a teen mystery show. But there hasn't been much mystery or action in the first 5 episodes. There's been a little, but not a lot. But in this episode, we got both. There's even a face-off between Zambadu and Naomi as she hits him with a few blasts, a few light blasts and one powerful blast. But he just bats it away. And such is the power levels between the two. It doesn't even faze him. But in that way, he's a little disappointed in her, but he knows that she's raw and she hasn't sort of come into tune with her powers. So I'm not sure why he's saying that. There's still something out there that says, is he her father? But I wouldn't expect so. But so far, he isn't that guy from the comics. He isn't the guy who's been hunting her down to kill her. So we're still trying to sort of feel him out, if that makes sense. So he's the real wild card at the moment. He's the red herring. He could be used as a hero, as a villain, or he could be her father. They're leaving it out there, so that kind of is the mystery right now. And I'm okay with that, as long as they keep playing that sort of tune for us. But there's a nice moment between the McDuffie family, who's always a pleasure to see. I like the dynamic between Dee and Quayla, and I hope he will reunite with her at some point and that she isn't dead. So I give this episode, guys, a strong 8 out of 10. It's the highest in the season so far for me. And this leaves us all with the mystery to unfold. Will Zambadu turn out to be good? And will he come forward and tell Naomi more about Earth-29? Because her not knowing is going to continue to get her into trouble. But we've found out now it will also get Zambadu into trouble too. Now, the writers have been way too mysterious with Zambadu. He keeps telling people what to do and help him, but he's given 0 reasons why to trust him. And it's kind of hurting the pacing of the series. I feel like the first 6 episodes have been stretched out because of this. If they kind of gave that some more exposition, then it would boost their season 1 into a different sort of light. But right now, we want to see more high stakes. This episode definitely raises the levels, I agree. But we need to keep the urgency so that the viewers can stay more in touch with this mystery. It's got so much upside, and the cast are starting to get into their own. And as I said, guys, this is an Ava DuVernay production, so we would expect at least the best from her bringing us this wonderful story. So that's it from me, guys. Let me know what your comments are. Let me know where you are in the season so far. Let me know if you're on board. Let me know if you're struggling with it and if you're starting to sort of lose faith in it. And I'll speak to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys. Speak to you later, man. Nice one, guys.